Hello, welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I'm going to be making a soap with a masculine scent, but I'm also going to make it for the holidays. That's kind of what was in my mind when I pulled this fragrance from Rouge, Canada. It's called Mahogany Balsam, and it smells really good. And I called it a masculine scent, but I think it's just really sort of woodsy and earthy and not flowery or feminine. So anyway, I think it smells great. I'll use this bar for sure. Let's read the scent notes on it. It has top notes of citrus and balsam, middle notes of juniper berry, and base notes of mahogany and cedar wood. And it's just that good. So the colors, I was thinking about mahogany, balsam. Mahogany made me think of brown, and balsam made me think of green. And I'm going to throw a little red pop in there just for the holidays, just to kick everything up. So for the brown color, I'll be using from Natural Bulk Supplies, Luster Brown. And it's hard to see in this baggie, but it's a beautiful brown with a little bit of iridescent shimmer to it. Gorgeous. And also from Natural Bulk Supplies, Jungle Green. So you'll see the colors when we unbag them and get them in the soap. They're lovely. And then for the little pop of red, I'm going to use Red Vibrance from Nurture Soap. This is a great red color. It's not like a true, cherry red, but it's just beautiful. And I think this will kick both of those colors up and just sort of take this into a holiday soap rather than just a plain old good soap. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work the holidays in because it's that time of year and I love it. So that's the plan. I think I'm gonna do a drop swirl today and not run my hanger through. I'm not sure. Sometimes I can't resist running my hanger through just because I love a swirl. But those are the colors, that's the fragrance. I'm gonna get everything pulled together and let's come back and make some mahogany balsam soap. All right, we are back and I have decided to make the big mold. I'm so excited to use my favorite triple bar mold. This is a tall triple skinny from Workshop Heritage. I've used these for years and years, love them, and I'm so crazy about this fragrance. And I know I have a lot of men in my life that are gonna love this soap. I'm gonna love this soap. I just wanted to make a big batch. So let me set this off to the side and pull out my big bucket for measuring oils, and let's measure out all of the ingredients going in the soap today. Boy, that hardly even fits on the camera anymore, does it? All right, let's get into this. I am using a recipe that I've done before in smaller loaves, and this is my lard and palm kernel recipe, and I'm also going to be doing an aloe vera lye solution today. So the first ingredient I need measured in my pot is 33.6 ounces of lard, or 953 grams of lard. All right, the next oil going in here is coconut oil. I need 24 ounces or 680 grams of coconut oil. All right, our next hard oil is palm kernel flakes, and I need 9.6 ounces or 272 grams of palm kernel flakes. All right, and the last hard butter I'm going to put in here is cocoa butter. I need 4.8 ounces or 136 grams. And then I'm going to pre-melt these hard oils and butters a little before we add the liquid. So let's get our beautiful cocoa butter in here. I have a combination of this bulk and then my little wafers that I love to measure because they measure so easy. All right, we are back with all the melted hard oils and butters. Time for the liquid oils, which is castor oil and sunflower oil. So for castor oil, I need 4.8 ounces or 136 grams of castor oil. And sunflower oil, this is the kind I'm using. I got this at Costco. It's a high oleic sunflower oil, which means it won't be prone to the dreaded orange spots. And I have been having good success with this. So far, no complaints. So this is what I'm using. I need 19.2 ounces or 544 grams of high oleic sunflower oil. All right, we're back to make our aloe vera lye solution, and I do a 50-50 aloe vera water split. You could do 100% aloe. This is aloe vera juice, not gel. They are not the same thing. and you soap with them differently. This is what I'm using today. It's very liquidy, like water consistency. It's an aloe juice, just trying to make that clear. And I need a total of 27 ounces or 762 grams of liquid. And I'm going to split it between the aloe vera and the water. So I'm just going to glug and measure here until I get up to 27 ounces. I'm shooting for about 50-50 split. All right, so that's about 13.6 ounces of aloe juice. And I'll top it off with water. And these I both keep in the refrigerator so they are cold. All right, now I am back with my aloe vera water, and again, it's cold. I am going to dissolve sugar in here, about 2 tablespoons of sugar in this water, and because sugar is a lather booster, it helps create really voluminous, fluffy lather in soap. If you're using a fruit puree, that's the sugar. If you're using a milk, that also the lactic acid sugars, or milks have natural sugars is what I'm trying to say. So all of those things add to a beautiful lather. And when I'm not doing a milk or a puree, I like to add cane sugar in here. You could use powder sugar, white sugar, no sugar at all. It's all up to you. But I love it, so I'm adding it in here. This is a 2 tablespoon scoop. I'm going to use the whole thing. And here is the clause with sugar. If you are adding sugar to your lye, you want to add it before you put your sodium hydroxide in. The sugar won't dissolve. After the sodium hydroxide is in here, it'll just turn into a big caramely clump and it's a mess. And yeah, nobody wants that. So always dissolve your sugar first, and then you can add your lye and it's totally fine. So I'll just stir this till I don't see the granules down in the bottom anymore. Just takes a minute, not too long, but make sure it's all dissolved. All right, sugar is all dissolved in here, and now another extra I like, I'm going to add my Tussa silk fibers just because I love them. They do add a silky feel to the lather and a glossiness to the wet bar of soap, and I have them, therefore I use them. I don't know if I'll rebuy it again after I run out or not. It's just a fun additive, and if you've been with me any amount of time, you know I love additives. So just a little pinch is going in there. I can't weigh it for you. It has no weight, just a little tiny cotton ball size, maybe the end of a Q-tip size pinch of silk, and it really does add a little something to the bar, I'll just say it. So I just sink it down in there, and here is my sodium hydroxide, which is lye or caustic soda ash, or whatever you want to call it. Sodium hydroxide is the chemical name, and I need 14 ounces or 396 grams of lye. And I buy it in bulk and then put it out into little containers. So I get my lye in a 50-pound pail on Amazon, and I'll leave a link for that. Works great. And the amount of lye we're using today in this soap recipe factors in for a 5% super fat. Let me step back a second and we'll talk about super fat. So with the cold water and the aloe vera, I can just add the lye in there. It doesn't have to be slow like when you're dealing with milk or anything. It's really easy peasy. The aloe vera juice acts just like water for soap making. And I stir until I don't feel any grit. I want to make sure all of my lye is dissolved before I stop stirring. And then I will go put this in an ice bath to cool it down fast. Now, if you were not adding silk, I need the heat to melt my silk. If you're not adding silk, you could make this with ice cubes, and then you don't need an ice bath. I think Katie Carson does a 50% ice cube, 50% liquid water in her lye, and it's ready really fast, and that's brilliant. The only reason I don't do that is because I need my silk fibers to melt in here. So there is that to factor in. Super fat. So 5% of the oils that I've measured will not saponify. It's extra moisture in your bar. That's what a super fat is. It's anything above what your sodium hydroxide will react with and create soap. So lye and oils make soap. And once you have a completely saponified bar, there is no longer lye in the soap. People that are like, oh, lye soaps are harsh. No, they're not. They're super, super gentle. There is no more lye in a finished bar of soap. It is all consumed up with the oil reaction. And anything above the amount is a super fat. And I like to soap at 5% super fat for a body bar. When I'm doing a coconut, 100% coconut oil bar, I do a 20% super fat to keep it moisturizing. When I'm making laundry soap or detergent bars, I do 0% super fat. I want a nice, crispy, clean, squeaky clean bar of soap. So that is what super fat is. It's extra oil that is not getting utilized by the lye, and it makes a nice gentle bar. I just think 5% is like the gold standard, easy peasy. Most soap calculators will already have a 5% in pre-filled in, so it's kind of the standard, I guess. So that's what that is. Here is my lye solution. I am going to be adding sodium lactate into this after it cools down a little bit, and I add this at 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. So whatever batch size you're making, that's how much sodium lactate, and that helps the bar unmold easier the next day. It firms it up a little quicker. Does not help with the curing time, but it does firm it up quicker for an easy unmold the next day. So let me go get this cooling off and we'll come back for soap additives. All right, my lye solution is in an ice bath cooling, and now it's time for my additives. And I'm going old school. This is my go-to. I've got my colloidal oats, which is actually a whole oat flour that I get on Amazon, and my kaolin clay. Let's talk about, why do you add clay to your soap? Well, first of all, you don't need to. This is a heaping 2 tablespoons that I'm going in there, but clay adds a really beautiful slip and glide to the lather of your bar. Plus, it's really good for your skin, and I love it. That's why that's in there. Oats. I also think oats are really good for your skin. The oat flour that I use, it's not quite as finely milled technically as a true colloidal oat, but it's fine enough for me, and it's like half the price. So that's why I do this, and I love it. I think oats are really wholesome. I do have a girlfriend that has oat allergies, so she will ask me to make her some oat-free soap now and again, and that's totally cool. Again, heaping 2 tablespoons going in, but for most people, I think oats are very skin soothing, and that's why I add it in there. So let me get those blended in. And by the way, the fragrance is in here. The range that Marouge Canada said for this was between 2 to 6% for soap. Whenever it goes above 5%, I just default to 5%. So I'm fragrancing this at 5%. And I do include my water volume when I am figuring out my percent for fragrance. That is a hotly contested subject. Please be nice in the comments section. That is how I've always done it. That's how I was taught. That's what Marie does at Anne-Marie does over at Brambleberry, and she knows her stuff. So I figure my percentage on fragrance or essential oils off of the total volume of the soap batter. And if you will be polite about it and you have differing opinion, please leave it nicely down below. We would all love to read about that, but that's how I do it. Let me get this blended up, and yeah, by the time I get this done, the lye solution should be cool, and it should be time to make some soap. We are back, and here is our gorgeous aloe vera lye solution. It is cooled down, and our soap is cooled off, and it's all good. It's all ready to go. Additives in, fragrance in, and I sure hope I didn't stir up a controversy with my thoughts on fragrance load in soap. I want my channel to be a gentle place, a safe place, a place of joy and maker space. I want everybody to be happy when they come here. So I don't like it when makers argue about technique. I feel like it's part chemistry, part artistry, and we all do things a little different. For instance, let me tell you, I absolutely adore Katie Carson, and she mixes her micas in oil and then puts them in after she splits it. I have my micas in water, and I put them in the little bowl beforehand. We just each have our own groove, you know, and there's not, some things there's a right and a wrong way, you know, there are a few things that are hard and fast rules, but then there's a lot of room for artistry. And so I just want you all to know that if you're doing something a different way than I do, that doesn't mean it's wrong. That's just maybe how it works for you. So it's okay. It's all okay. I will say that your lye to oil ratio is nothing to mess around with. That's the one area you want to be spot on. But other than that, you got some wiggle room to play with colors and styles and all of it. So hope that wraps that up okay. All right, this is looking beautiful. It smells so good in here. If you get a chance to get that fragrance from Rouge Canada, you won't be disappointed. And it's soaping really well. This is beautiful. So I'm just stirring and pulsing, if you can hear that. I'm not buzzing this the entire time. And that is looking well and emulsified. So now I'm going to pour off my colors, blend it up to a nice trace, and we'll get to pouring. All right, change of plans. I am going to do an in the pot swirl. All right, guys, it's the next day, and I did put a blanket over this, so it did go through gel phase, and that just means it heated up and kind of cooked in the mold. I prefer to do gel phase, and here it is. It smells so good, and it looks kind of pretty and woodsy, which goes along with the scent really well. I'm anxious to see how this in the pot swirl came out. It looked pretty muddied up as I was pouring it. So there's only one way to find out. Let's get in here and see what we've got going on the inside. We are back with the lovely Olga to get into our first loaf. It definitely looks a little muddied up on the outside, but I'm hoping the inside has enough color swirlies going on to, you know, make it worth our while. Really hoping for some good swirls in here. And I did get one little air pocket here, if you can see that. But let's see. Oh, yay. Wow. That's very ziggy-zaggy. It's kind of cool, though. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad it didn't just completely muddy up. It's pretty cool. Definitely masculine. I don't know if I'm getting winter vibes. It almost looks like a wood grain. Not quite, but, you know, it's kind of cool. I'm not sure why I got one little air pocket in there, but we can fix that up really easy when I do the beveling on the sides. The soap is soft enough to be like a soap dough, and I can just fill that little hole in, no problem. That's kind of groovy looking. All right, so it's not my typical swirly whirly, but it's groovy. That's kind of cool. You know, it's one of those things, I was just looking at the consistency of the batter, and I thought, well, rather than do a drop swirl in the pot, you make a call, you live with the consequence. There it is. They smell really good. I'll say that. And I think all the people in my family, the dudes especially, are gonna love this bar. All right, let's get into the center loaf here and see how the patterns come out on there. I get asked this a lot. The wires on this soap cutter are at 1 1/4 inch, so 1.25 inches is the spacing there. So it's a nice generous size bar, which I love. I love a good beefy bar of soap. Ooh, that's a pretty swirl. And it feels kind of satisfying in your hand when you have a nice big solid bar. That's cool, and I kind of like the side. I don't know why this makes me think of like a science experiment. What kind of vibes are you picking up when you see this? What does it look like? Does it look messy or does it look cool to you? It's funny. All right, so definitely I would not call this a holiday bar, but very woodsy, very masculine. Not a Christmas bar though. Maybe just a winter woodsy bar. How about that? We can call that. All right, let's get into the last loaf here. I'm really glad the inside didn't muddy up the colors. Doing it in the pot swirl, it's good to have a thicker trace so that they don't blend together and make a muddied up color like the outside here. To me, that just kind of looks brown and unattractive, but the inside, you can see the colors. So yeah, it's okay. We'll just say it's okay. But overall, I'm really happy with these bars. And the sides look super cool, right? I love that. So yeah, if you are new to soap making and you watch this video and I put all the additives in the lye solution and in the oils and all of that, you don't have to overcomplicate your soap. I just love all the bells and whistles, but you can make soap making as simple or as complicated as you want. As long as you have the right ratio of lye to oils, good to go. But for those of us like me that love a little something extra, even though I don't think these are the most attractive bars in the universe, they're still pretty cool, and they've got the oats, they've got the clay, they've got the aloe, all the goodness is in here. So I think they're awesome, even if I don't think they are stunning beauties, but they're cool, right? They've got their own vibe going on. So, you know, we're going to call it good, and what a wonderful bar of soap that's going to be. So like I normally do, I'm going to let these sit. Even though I use the sodium lactate, they unmolded beautiful and smooth, but I'm going to let them sit for a few hours and get the air surface dried up a little before I come in and do my beveling and stamping. Because my soap stamp that I use, I have a mallet and I whack the bar. That's kind of an aggressive movement, and I want my bars to be nice and hard before I do that. You know, some people do the beveling, and if they stamp after the cure, they'll wait 4 to 6 weeks to come in and do all that. That's okay too. It's one of those, like I was saying during the making, it's one of those customized things where you find out what works for you. So anyway, a couple hours, bevel, stamp, all the good soapy stuff. And I thank you for joining me today. And I hope you enjoyed today's video and these less than stunning bars that smell fantastic. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.